It looks like unfortunately it happened. Evie Pig was forgotten, and this character might disappear over time. Are you ready to hear about the future of Peppa's sister?
Evie, baby Evie.
Episodes. The truth is that it seems the creator's project isn't working out. Evie really was a big novelty, and the internet couldn't stop talking about her just a few months ago. But now, everything has changed. If you follow the series, you may have already noticed that there aren't many episodes focused on Evie, and that's really a shame. Of course, there are some stories where Peppa and George help their parents take care of the baby, but unfortunately, that's not enough. Evie is at risk of disappearing from the series, just like Aunt Dottie, who is Mommy Pig's sister, and we know the reason why this is happening. The truth is that, as much as Evie is the big new addition to the series, the main character of the story is Peppa, and that's why no other character can be bigger than her. But this reality is also sad, because now Evie might be forgotten by the fans. Will this really happen? Let's find out right now. Are you ready? Because another amazing Cinewave is starting now. Peppa and George. Could it be that Evie is a character who doesn't really fit into the story? What do you think about that? We're going to show you what might be going wrong. If you pay close attention to most of the cartoons we love, the stories are told in pairs. Bluey and Bingo, Ben and Holly, Masha and the Bear, Judy and Nick, and of course, Peppa and George. There are also stories where 3 or more characters are the main focus. Everyone knows that, but this kind of cartoon might not work in Peppa Pig. George and Peppa have been in the series since the very first episode, and they work really well as a duo, and that's why fans will always like the two of them more. And if you think that's not true, just know that the Pig siblings have been in the series for over 20 years. Evie is still a character who needs to win people's hearts, but the truth is that she may be getting forgotten for a very simple reason. She's still a baby, and that can be very bad. Baby, still talking about Evie's age? There's evidence that the fact that she's a baby can be bad for the character. In the Christmas episode, she was in the stroller while Peppa and George were playing, and in the episode The Princess Party, Mommy Pig got sick and stayed in bed because of the flu. But Peppa and George wanted to throw a party. They invited their friends and several characters to play, and this story had everything to be one of the most fun in the entire series. But there was a problem. Evie didn't take part in the game, not because she wasn't there, but because the little pig had to be carried by her dad. And this is a big problem for Evie. Do you realize that if this character doesn't walk, doesn't talk, and doesn't play with her siblings, fans won't pay attention to her? That's why Evie might lose the affection she received from the beginning and disappear from the series, just like Aunt Dottie. Is that what happened to Mommy Pig's sister? She probably lives far away, because maybe there isn't space for her in the series. Something similar happens with the family of Cousin Chloe and baby Alexander. They almost never appear. Will this end up happening to Evie Pig? It might. Let's discover the truth in the next episodes of the series. What do you think will happen to the new little pig? Comment number Evie so we can get to know you. George. But one of the biggest problems with Evie might be something even worse than what was happening with George. You know what we're talking about, right? Many fans didn't like George at the beginning of the series. They called him annoying because he was an immature boy. You definitely remember all the times George didn't get what he wanted and ended up crying because of it. One of the biggest examples happens in the episode where Grandpa Pig takes the kids to the amusement park. George and Richard didn't want to wait in line, which was the right thing to do, but the little pig started crying and Grandpa gave him what he wanted. In Peppa's world, this is normal. When a younger child starts crying, it feels like the whole world freezes to give them what they need, even if that's something unfair. Everyone knows that babies cry, but there are fans of the Peppa world who don't have the patience for that. It's one more problem in Evie's life, because just like her older brother, that's what she does. In the episode Old Times, Mommy Pig says that when Peppa was a baby, the thing she did the most was cry and burp. It's the same thing Evie does today, and that's not very nice, don't you agree? That's why Evie needs to grow up fast, because if she doesn't, fans will get irritated with her. Talking. Another problem with Evie is that she still doesn't talk, and you already know why, but it's important to remember how this can be a mistake for Peppa's sister. If Evie can't talk, then she also can't take part in the episodes as a character who grabs the fans' attention, and before long, she might be forgotten by the fans. That's why a big change is going to happen in the next season. Did you know that Evie broke the timeline in the Peppa series? Yes, that's true. The little pig was introduced on real-world television, then we saw an episode about the baby's gender, and of course, Eevee's birth. Before that, the series didn't show time passing, but now it does. That must be why the creators of the show are showing time moving forward. They know Eevee needs to grow up, start talking, and take part in the games. And this could fit really well with the series, because if Eevee is 2 years old, just like George, then her brother would be 4, and Peppa would be a 6-year-old little pig. All of them would still be kids and could have fun together. Could a time jump be coming? Hopefully, because if that happens, fans will start liking Eevee more, just like they like her older siblings. What do you think about that? Toys. If Peppa has her teddy bear Teddy and George has Mr. Dinosaur, what is Eevee's favorite toy? The little piglet's first toy is Quack Quack, a yellow rubber duck. That kind of toy parents use to help their kids during bath time. But was that really a good idea? Ever since Mommy Pig said she was pregnant, everyone created theories about what Eevee's favorite toy would be. There were even fans who thought the new little pig would become the owner of Mr. Dinosaur, but she chose a rubber duck. Most fans didn't like this toy because yellow rubber ducks aren't very exciting. They're only used in the bath, and everyone agrees that George's dinosaur is way cooler, right? Subscribing to the channel is just as good as watching your favorite animations. Shall we click? Growing up. Everything that has happened to Eevee so far is a clue that she's going to grow up soon, but that could also be a problem in the future. What if fans don't like Eevee? She could be a girl no one wants to be friends with. Everyone has reasons to get annoyed, even with Peppa, so Eevee will be a girl with many flaws. Besides that, let's remember Aunt Dottie. If there isn't space for her in the series, then the same thing will happen to Peppa's sister, and the reason is very simple to understand. There can't be a little pig who is cooler than Peppa. She is the main character, and without her, there is no story. If fans like Eevee more than her older sister, that would be a problem within the series. And what does that have to do with the future of the new little pig? The answer about Eevee growing up is that the creators of the series will give her a personality that fans won't like very much. Of course, she needs to be a less interesting little pig than her older sister, who is the true main character of the series, or something else will happen. If Eevee ends up being a little pig everyone loves, then it would be really cool to have a series where she herself is the main character, and it would make perfect sense for Eevee to move to the United States with her Aunt Dottie. In that case, we would have 2 shows, one set in England and another where the story takes place in America, and that way, both sisters would be the protagonists of their own series. What do you think about that idea? Brother. Another reason fans might not like Eevee is that she's the girl who pushed George aside. When Mommy Pig said she was pregnant, everyone was happy. But later, fans started asking, what's going to happen to George? Wouldn't it be better for the creators of the series to show more of George instead of creating a new little pig? For more than 20 years, everyone heard him only say the word dinosaur. Fans waited a long time for George to grow up. That should have been the big new thing in the series this year, but instead, fans got a new character who can't even take part in games with her siblings. Will Eevee really end up becoming a character forgotten by the fans? This question needs to be answered in the next season. But what do you think about that? The opening! Did you notice that Eevee's arrival in the new season changed the show's opening? But is that a reason for fans not to like the little pig? You can be sure it is. Not only did the opening change, but also the house where the pig family lives. And that is, yes, a big problem for some fans. Let's imagine how some fans are feeling. Until Eevee was born, everyone was used to the old way the series worked. The opening, the pig family's house, the relationship between Peppa and George, all of that worked for more than 20 years. And because of that, it's important for the creators of the show to think very carefully about what they're going to do. When such a big change happens, people who were used to the original get upset. And because of that, Eevee could turn into a character no one likes seeing appear in the episodes. This is also a reason why the theory about Peppa having a twin sister was never confirmed by the creators of the animation. That's why it's important for Eevee to grow up soon and gain her own story, as we've already explained is the best path for the character. But what do you expect for the little pig's future? Will Eevee have a bright future or a sad one? If you liked this video, there are 2 more ready on the screen. Just click and keep watching with us. Thanks and see you soon.